Well, hello everyone. How you doing? Hope you're having a great start to your day. Happy Question and Answer Friday. TGIF. Okay. Who is going to be number one this morning? Kevin from Oshawa. Mike from Norland. You guys are right up there at the top. Jen, good morning from Cape Breton. Mary, how are you? Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. Brahim, my friend from Portland, Oregon. Nativity. And Anna, Hamner. Michelle, Ernsdale. Annette, bonjour. Dubraka, Mississauga. Fran, how are you? And Martin, like your name, Martin. Surrey, BC. Serpa, good morning. Wendy from Markham, good morning. Deb from Timmins. And Donna from Park Hill. Micheline, bonjour. Rita, Nouveau-Brunswick, bonjour. Fran, Tilsonburg. Georgie from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yellow, good morning. Deb from Detroit, Michigan. Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Nick from our staff. Chantal, Ottawa, bonjour. Nellie, good morning. Misty from West Virginia. Oh, I want to sing so badly. Diane, good morning. John. Frida, how are you? Marina, Deer Lake, N.I. Where the heck could that be? Annette, Ottawa. Maryland, Edmonton. Deanna. Bill, how are you? Joanne. Anne, good morning. Chantal. And Andre. Bon vendredi. Lori, Alberta. Evelyn, you guys, thanks so much. Patricia, good morning. Brenda. Couple more and let's get going. Francis Marie. Charlotte, good morning. Claudie. And Dottie from New Brunswick. Heather. Miramichi. That's in Quebec, isn't it? Dave. Or no, that's New Brunswick. Misty. Linda. Pennsylvania. Lisa. Good morning. Okay, let's get going. What do you give out for Halloween? What a question. Well, I don't give it out. But, it's interesting. It's an interesting question because I was talking to my youngest grandson the other day. He is 11, going on 20. Okay, smart as a whip. And, I asked him, are you going out for Halloween? He said, yeah. I said, Tony Jr., I think he was 20 years old. He still wanted to go out for Halloween. Okay. It's not so much what you give out. It's what the parents sort of, you're very limited on. I know you got all these candies and whatever, but we're going to limit that. But I don't know what you give out personally. It's one day a year. I don't get too uptight about Halloween. I don't get too uptight, Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. Come on, enjoy yourself. But the good thing is when you formed habits, you know about sugar and what it does to you as an individual. You know that, you have that information, and you just, you know what, I gotta be nothing but disciplined. And you try and influence your family as much as you can, and they gotta make that decision too. My grandson's smart. He said, Grandpa, I gotta be careful. I can't have too much of that. But I enjoy going out, running around on Halloween. I said, I don't blame you. Okay. Judy, was told not to drink kombucha. Yeah, most of it, especially if it's so much sugar at it. Kombucha on its own don't taste good. So what do the food companies do? They make it, they put sugar, and I wouldn't touch this stuff. Look, I'll tell you something, okay? Because there's another question about this. I'm really big on not drinking, like, you know what I mean? Once you're off breast milk, drink water and coffee. Anything with sugar, don't drink it. Just be very careful what you drink. If you're in that 7% of metabolic, 7% of the population, it used to be 12, it's now 7% of the population is healthy metabolically. That, my friend, is a disaster. So if you know yourself, there's no need to drink that stuff. There's no need to drink anything with sugar in it. There's no need for it. And so it's only, again, it comes back to understanding your body, understanding, my name is Tony and I'm a carboholic, and I don't drink anything with sugar in it. I just don't. I don't drink juice, because, let me get to the question, because I might as well take it right now. Lucille, okay? Lucille sent in this question. My friend, okay, insists, okay, there is a difference between drinking complex sugars versus simple sugars. For example, raw juice from orange versus regular orange juice. What are your thoughts? Well, there probably is a difference, but it's not significant, because when you get orange juice that let's say freshly squeezed, that's what she means. Okay, Lucille, give the message to your friend from me. Okay? Because you can measure sugar response and you can measure insulin response. Okay? And I want to tell you that when you drink juice, whether it's complex, freshly squeezed orange juice, or Tropicana, or any kind of juice, orange juice or apple juice, or, guys, all I'm telling you is God meant you to eat fruit, not drink it. Because the second you drink fruit, you start a cascade of problems in your body, because you're going to secrete more insulin than what is needed. So you're going to have a huge sugar, and when there's sugar in the bloodstream, your pancreas goes crazy. Out. You got to get it out. So, look, maybe the response is a little bit less with a complex sugar, but it's still very high. And we live in a world, we're up to 200 pounds each. A dump truck load of sugar. And when you drink it, you're in trouble. Your body has to overreact to that. And that's what I'm saying. So your friend, God love her, I tell you, we live in a different world, okay? Like the only water I'd let you drink, like coconut water. I'm sure there's tribes, they open up a coconut and drink the water. It's an electrolyte drink. It's not sweet. And, you got coconuts growing in your backyard? Well, then maybe go and have some coconut water. I'm not against that. But I'm telling you, I had to treat insulin resistance. That was my practice more than anything else insulin resistance from one end of the body to the other. It affects everything. And the way to fix it is never to drink sugar. Don't drink it. The response is too quick. Remember yesterday I talked about speed kills? Well, speed kills. The amount of time it takes for sugar to be produced in the bloodstream makes a huge difference. And when you drink it, it's there in nanoseconds. And now your body has to do a cascade of things. And so your friend, yeah, if we lived 100 years ago, would have been probably right. You know, there's a difference. But not today. You just, you know, that's why I'm very adamant about it. I'm a one-track pony. I talk about this, as you guys know, all the time, and I'm telling you, because I used to measure it. I used to measure response. And I know what food does, my friend. And so, Lucille, good questions, and Judy, thanks for that question. Linda, are you the Linda in the Linda? Listen, Linda, listen. Linda, can too much vitamin D interfere with the thyroid? No, just the opposite, Linda, okay? I've got my book, my new book in a binder because, you know, my end is done, okay? So here's my copy of it. See it? See the front? Oh, maybe you don't. Okay, I have it in a binder because I got to print it up for me, okay? Just my copy until the publisher gets their work done. Sun, steak, steel, and sleep. Okay. I talk about the thyroid and vitamin D. They have shown, studies have shown, that your thyroid won't work properly without your blood levels being from 50 to 60 in the United States to about 2.5 times. So, you know, around the 160 to 200 level in Canadian numbers, you need vitamin D for your thyroid. Of course, you need vitamin D for everything to work properly. You are a human solar panel, and even your thyroid has a solar panel. Unreal, isn't it? So you need vitamin D to be higher, optimized for your thyroid to work properly. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, but it's the opposite, okay? So too much vitamin D. Listen, how do you get too much vitamin D? Very hard. People that are on certain medications, people that have a metastatic cancer in them, they get high levels of vitamin D. But what is vitamin D toxicity? I always ask this question. What is vitamin D toxicity? There's a war going on vitamin D, 100% for sure. And they always talk about toxicity. And I tell people, look, if we get all the numbers from every hospital in North America, okay, how many people are in the hospital because they got too much vitamin D? Nobody? How many people are in the hospital because they don't have enough vitamin D? Hey, by the way, this has been tested. A lot. All-cause mortality. Vitamin D is a biomarker that you can measure. And I'm telling you, when you're on the road, on your journey of health, and your body is going downhill, one of the signs of that is that your vitamin D levels are not optimized. This says, I've got probably over 200 studies on the vitamin D, its importance in every aspect of the body. I double down on that. Vitamin D. The sun. You need it. Okay. And Hannah, how long can we keep meat in the freezer? I don't know. For a long time. Does it go bad? I guess it could. With someone that knows that for a fact, would they please sort of put that on the scroll there? Because I don't know exactly. I am sure there's, probably a range of time, but hey, this is a live show. I don't know. Okay, and Judy, with her daughter was diagnosed with monoclonal gammopathy. That's a very rare disorder, Judy. And what I would rather you do, send me an email. I'll answer, because I've seen it before, but I'm not going to comment too much because it's really rare. And there's a couple of things I would have to say about it, but it's not going to be helpful for other people. Andrea, I'm wondering if Dr. Martin can give his opinion on hydrogen water. And don't bother. Water's already got hydrogen. It's called H2O. Okay? Water's H2O. The best water is spring water. Don't spend money. Well, I kind of laugh, because my sports drink when I was a kid was a hose. Okay? If you would have told me, even when I was 30 or 40 years old, that we would buy water, I would have laughed at you. What? Spend money on water? Okay? But water is so important. And I measure my water in a sense that I drink 2 liters of water every day. And when I work out, I drink even more. Okay? Now, don't spend a lot of money on, the thing I would have people spend money on is filter. Like, filter your water. If you're going to take it out of a tap, filter it. Because, you know what I mean? If it's not coming from a spring water is the best because it's mineralized. Water is mineralized. It's got the right pH. But I wouldn't spend a lot of money on hydrogen water and the worst water, by the way, is distilled water. I don't like that stuff because that's not really the way you're supposed to drink water. So if you got distilled water, then make sure you put salts back in. You got to put the salt back in. I wrote a book. Okay. I don't think I've ever written a book that I didn't have a whole chapter or whatever on water. When I talk about salt, your body is an ocean. 75%, you're like planet Earth, is water and salt. Salt water. Actually, outside your cell, you have salt water. Inside your cell, you have fresh water. And that has to be balanced. But again, like I said, it's, get used to drinking well water or spring water. And if you have filtered water, then put a little bit of salt back in. Okay? Put a pinch of Himalayan or a good Celtic salt or sea salt. Okay. Good question. Is it as beneficial as some sources claim? No. It's not. It's beneficial. Water's beneficial. It's a vitamin. Vitamin W. Karen, this is 2 weeks in a row, Karen. Mushroom coffee. I don't know anything about it other than what I read. I've never tried it. Some of you answered last week that you like it. Good for you, okay? I'm not saying, I would try it, but I want that coffee bean, my friend. Coffee bean. I'm a coffee guy. Vitamin C, the best. 500 times more powerful than the real vitamins, or the other vitamin C, ascorbic acid. 500 times stronger. So I don't know about mushroom coffee. I'll try it, but I ain't promising nothing. Is it good for you? I'm sure it is. Is it as good as the bean? I don't think so. Okay? 2 weeks in a row, I never heard of mushroom coffee till last week. Regina, are we able to get vitamin D from the sun during the winter through the window pane if sitting at the window? Well, listen, you get benefits, but you're not getting vitamin D. Okay? You get benefits, though, because you're going to get melatonin. It's sitting in the sunroom is going to give you benefits. There really is. From dopamine to serotonin to you name all those feel-good hormones, it's good. And your melatonin goes up. Okay? Your melatonin goes up in your third eye, your pineal gland. Okay? But you're not getting vitamin D. Vitamin D only comes when you can expose your arms and legs, mostly, to the rays of the sun. Well, good luck in the winter. Good luck in the winter to get vitamin D. Your biggest solar panels are on your arms and on your legs. Those are your biggest solar panels in your body. Okay? So, no, but it's still a good idea. If you are dark-skinned, do you need to take more units of vitamin D? Absolutely. Because the dark skin, this is why African Americans, okay? African Americans, Indians, East Indians, Hindus, or whatever, they need more vitamin D than I do. I'm a white man. I'm a pale skin, okay? I need less vitamin D than someone with dark skin. They need more vitamin D. It's just the way it is. Their pigmentation is part of protection from the sun. They need more vitamin D, okay, than I do. So, yeah, they take more vitamin D, okay? Now, you can Google me, send me an email, I'll tell you exactly how much I would recommend. I can't tell a person individually how much vitamin D. When I was in practice, I could. But when I just talk in generalities, I tell people how much vitamin D I take. Between 8 and 10,000 IUs a day for me, personally. And I've done the vitamin D hammer, where I've done 50,000 IUs a day for 3 days when I feel a bug coming on. But guys, that's for me. Okay, Dale. Any truth you should be taking magnesium in order to absorb vitamin D and B vitamins? No. Well, look. I like magnesium. Magnesium is important. Okay? And so, when you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese, okay, you're getting magnesium. Now, I like magnesium citrate, okay? And your body absorbs it. Very good. I like it. I take it. But you get magnesium from your food if you're in the animal kingdom. For the plants, yeah, there's some magnesium in there, but a lot of times if it ain't in the soil, you're not going to get as much as you need, okay? But magnesium is part of the absorption of vitamin D. And B vitamins, well, to some extent. Because magnesium is involved in everything. But if you have Himalayan salt, you got magnesium in there. Add it to your water. These are trace minerals. Magnesium's important. I love magnesium. Okay. Eddie, can you take iron pills with blood boost? You could. Okay, you see, the best iron is in steak. Heme iron is found in red meat and red meat alone. Okay, that's the best iron. So I always tell people, eat your iron. Steak. Okay, now, if you're anemic, if you're not absorbing, that's why I have blood boost, and I have a liquid iron in there, and it's really absorbable. And again, I'm never a guy to just take iron on its own. Usually, look, unless you're really anemic or whatever, and even then, I like a liquid iron. But you could take it with blood boost if you need it. Okay, if you need it. A lot of people have too much iron today, and that's because they got fatty liver. Okay? Because they got fatty liver. Okay, so good questions, very good questions. Group member. My parents are in the late 70s and they lost control of their bowel movements. Look, are you going to get them back? Late 70s and you've lost some control? Look, I understand there's the parasympathetic nervous system that's involved, the cranial nerve. One thing that I would do, okay, I always tell people this: leaky gut, leaky, everything. So I would start, and they should be on them anyways, probiotics. Okay, I mean, that's what I would do. But as far as turning that around, okay, I'm not all that optimistic, to be honest with you. You're going to need a miracle. God does miracles, not me. Okay? Now, good question. Thank you. Rosa, methylene blue. Yeah, what do you want to know about it, Rosa? I rating up on methylene blue in a study, how good it is for the body. Be careful. Well, methylene blue, what it is it's a medication. It's controlled. And there's a lot of side effects to it. Now, taking it in an IV under doctor's orders to bring more oxygen to the brain and that, anyway, I'm not that big on it, to tell you the truth, because it's a medication. It's a drug. Okay. Rosa, thanks for the question. Lucille. Okay, I answered Lucille. I answered your question. Okay. Mary, what does Dr. Martin have to say about type 1 juvenile diabetes? Well, look, type 1 juvenile diabetes is autoimmune. They were born like that. Or they acquired it, but it's autoimmune. The body turned on the pancreas, its own pancreas. And you're not secreting insulin properly, and you got to take insulin. That's no doubt about it. But the commonality that it has with type 2 diabetes is when you're a type 1 diabetic, you really have an allergy to sugars, just like type 2. Now, it's hard to convince type 1 diabetes, parents and even physicians. Look, they do really well on eggs, meat, and cheese. The more eggs, meat, and cheese that a type 1 diabetes eats, the better they can control their blood sugars. Now, I'm not talking about getting them off insulin or anything like that. I don't talk about that. It's autoimmune, start in the gut. Probiotics, absolutely. You need probiotics because it's an autoimmune disorder. Food, eggs, meat, and cheese. They got to be the most disciplined people in the world, was when you have type 1 juvenile diabetes. Okay? Because you're very susceptible to all the bad things that happen in diabetes. Blindness, kidney failure, heart disease, cancer, all the rates are up. So discipline. and, under care of, I used to work with physicians with that. And I'd show them the diet and how much better their blood sugars were under control. Good question. Thank you very much, Mary. What is the job of the appendix? Well, I'm glad you asked, Anne. Oh, I used to get uptight, okay? Uptight. You're saying, you? Yeah, I used to get uptight. When people, listen, I told you the story of your tonsils, right? Have I told you that story? In the 1950s, when I was a kid, okay, early 60s, everybody and their dog would get their tonsils removed. Why? Because evolutionary biology said, your tonsils, you're going to lose them in time over evolution, because of evolution. Because you don't need them. They were part of our, a gazillion years ago. We needed tonsils, and we don't need them anymore. You know what the same thing was said about the appendix? The appendix is a little wee 4 inches or so, little piece of at the start of your large intestine. They say useless, part of evolution, and get rid of it. You know what they're finding out with the appendix? It's a big part of your immune system. It's a big part of the immune system, just like your tonsils. Go to your doctor today and say, you know what, doc? I think I'd like to get my tonsils out. We don't need them. Even your doctor will say, no, we don't do that anymore. Not unless they got gangrene in them. Now listen, you can live without your tonsils, and you can live without your appendix. Okay? You can. But that doesn't mean they're not useful. So appendix, very important part of the immune system. And the more they study it, the more they realize, God was right. He gave you an appendix because you needed it. And he gave you tonsils because you need it. They're the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers of your throat and your trachea are tonsils. The gatekeeper of your large intestine is your appendix. It's a gatekeeper. You garbage there? I'm telling you. Don't get me going. Okay, Misty. Misty, I like your name. Okay. What do you think of calcium D-glucarate for lowering estrogen? Misty, look. Okay, I'm not against it. Okay, here's my answer. I'm not against it, but there's something better. There's nothing better than DIM. Okay, an extract of broccoli, very specific extract that blocks estrogen. And calcium D-glucarate, they stink. My tongue's tied up this morning. Where is it? Oh, D-glucarate. D-glucarate. Yeah, I've heard of it. I know what it is. Blocking estrogen? Maybe. But I know what blocks it better. See, I'm into better or best. Okay? I was telling somebody the other day about oil of oregano. Because they were asking me about colloidal silver. I said, good. Be careful. Do you want to know what's best? And they looked at me like I thought that was best. No, oil of oregano is better. It does more things. And same with DIM. DIM, see, the thing is, you have to understand, Misty, is that I used to measure estrogen. Okay? I used to measure it. And believe you me, I had to get results. And I've maybe, Misty, you haven't seen them, but I got them right here in my office, before and after. Wait 1 second, because people are very visual. Give me a second. Okay? And I'm going to show you again what DIM does. Okay? Now, for the folks on podcast, think of leopard spots. Okay? Here's a woman. See the leopard spots all over her chest wall. Okay? See those leopard spots? That's estrogen. Okay? Now, because this woman was, I was warning her about her risk of cancer. This is the same lady a year later, okay, taking a test. And I used to test them every 6 months. But I take that test and look at the difference on the chest wall, okay? I don't know if you can see that. See the leopard spots? Leopard spots are gone. How did I do that? Estrogen blocker, DIM. I used to measure it. So when I say it to you, Misty, look, if you want to take calcium, I'm going to say that word again, glucarate, go for it. I got no problem with it. But if you want to know what the best is dim it out, my friend. Dim it out. Thanks, Misty, for the question. Clara, why does B12 and cyanocobalamin, not methylcobalamin, better? Well, okay, we explain that a lot. B12, when you're taking it as a supplement, the cyano is one that your body doesn't absorb. It's synthetically made. The methylcobalamin is the natural, the one your body absorbs rapidly. Now remember, methylcobalamin has to be in a sublingual form, okay? In a sublingual form. So you let it melt. Because you don't want to digest B12 per se and not as a supplement, because you're not going to get the amount that you need, okay? So methyl is the best one by far, okay? By far. The other one is more of a synthetic B12. Clara, thanks for the question. Now, Joanne, she's been diagnosed with a low immune system. Number one, Joanne, number one, elevate your vitamin D. If you can, find out what your vitamin D levels are. When they tell you you have a low immune system, probably because you don't have enough white blood cells. There's nothing that'll charge up the batteries of your white blood cells than vitamin D. Your doctor doesn't think that way, but that's a fact. So find out what your vitamin D levels are, but you need to be on vitamin D, number one. Number two, another vitamin, A, vitamin A. Remember the invisible mask? The real mask? Vitamin D, vitamin A, steak. Okay? You need steak. And you need probiotics. Big part of your 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Friendly bacteria. The war that goes on in your gut, you need to make sure you fix your gut. And on a negative side, lay off the sugar. Because sugar, they've proven this. You see a white blood cell chasing a bacteria? You can Google it. You can watch it on YouTube. If you give that same person a teaspoon of sugar, the white blood cell stops in its tracks. It has a siesta. It thinks it's been out in the sun and now it needs to go to sleep for an hour. That's what sugar does to your immune system. Okay? It's a double whammo. It makes cancer grow and it suppresses the immune system. You think food isn't important for your immune system? It really is important. Okay? So thanks for the question. Joanne. And Francis, last one. Can salt disturb your sleep? Yep, it sure can. A low salt, not enough salt, can disturb your sleep. Remember, magnesium is a salt. Okay? I love magnesium for sleeping because you use the word relax. Potassium is a salt. You need a balance between your sodium and your potassium. Okay? You need to have a balance. So, yeah, to get a good night's sleep, you could be dehydrated. When I talk about dehydration, see, your brain can't even stand 1% of a lack of water and salt. So your brain's not going to get into recuperative sleep without salt. If someone calls you salty head, take it as a compliment. You need salt. Okay? And one of the biggest areas that gets messed up is when you're eating a lot of sugar. Now your body retains salt. It becomes a retention problem. And that can lead to edema and different other problems and puts an enormous amount of stress on the kidneys, which will elevate your blood pressure and do a lot of other nasty things. Okay, good questions today, guys. You guys are great. Oh, now I can breathe. Okay, guys, thank you so much for all those questions. We love you. Sincerely. If you're not a member of that Facebook group, join up, would you? Okay? Put a like right on Facebook. And you'll get your notices. Okay? If you ever don't get a notice at 8:30, go to Martin Clinic, go online, martinclinic.com, and you'll be able to just click on it and get on there, I think. I don't know. What do I know? Okay. Guys, we love you dearly. Talk to you soon.